How to Write in Fourth Grade, a Persuasive Essay. The best season is... Copyright 2013, Luke Sullivan. Time needed, 2 days, 45 minutes each. Materials needed: chart paper, reason explanation example worksheets, class writing paper. Here in fourth grade, we've written 3 pieces where the goal was to tell a story. You entertained your reader by making an emotional connection using descriptive details with the setting and with character description. Now your goal is going to change. You are going to write some essays where the goal is to persuade your reader. You want the reader to think clearly and agree with your position. You won't use descriptive details, but instead you'll use reasons that are supported with explanations and examples. All 3 elements encourage the reader to think clearly. The first essay is about the 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Think about one that you like a lot. Do you think you could convince someone that it is the best season? That is what your goal is in this writing piece. You'll begin by working in a group. Your group will be assigned 1 season. You'll talk amongst yourselves and find all the good things about your season. You'll have a piece of chart paper to write them all down. Your chart will then get hung here at the front of the class so we can talk about them. Don't worry if the season you're assigned is not the one you will choose for your essay. This is some of the work we do before we write. You'll choose which season to write about later. Here is an example of one chart that could have been written down about the season fall. As the groups present, listen carefully as people explain their reasons. Some of the reasons you might not understand. For example, someone said colored leaves are a reason that they like fall. Your student then gives an explanation to make the reason more clear. They say, in the fall, leaves change colors from green to red, orange, yellow, and brown. Then the student gives a specific example. My backyard starts out with one color, green, and then it turns into a mini rainbow. I think it looks pretty. Now everyone understands what the student meant when he said colored leaves is a reason fall is his favorite season. Now get in your group. Using your chart paper, make a list of all of the good things about the season you've been assigned. Try to think of the explanations and examples that go with each of the reasons on your chart paper so that you can share them with the class. Take a piece of the reason, explanation, example worksheet. Write your name at the top of it. Now that all the reasons have been given, you have to decide which season you could convince other people is the best season. Look at the chart papers hanging in the room. Find a chart that has 3 reasons that you could easily explain, just like we did for colored leaves. Remember, this is a writing assignment. You're not necessarily picking your favorite season. You're picking one that has 3 reasons that you can explain. Look at the chart paper for the season you've chosen. Find one of the reasons you know you can explain. Write it down on the first reason section. In our example, colored leaves is our reason. On the explanation lines, write your explanation for this reason. Your goal is to make the reason more clear by putting it into different words. In the fall, leaves change colors from green to red, orange, yellow, and brown. The explanation helps your reader think critically by making the reason more clear. The example lines are for a specific real-life example that supports your reason. My backyard starts out with one color and then turns into a mini rainbow. I think it looks pretty. The example helps them see a specific instance that goes with your reason. It's harder to agree with generalizations. If you do not have an example for this reason in your life, invent one. Now choose a second and third reason from your chart. Write them down in the appropriate sections on your worksheet. Then, complete the explanations and example sections just like you did for reason number 1. Real writers don't start writing an essay with a blank piece of paper. Instead, they gather the pieces or elements that they will need. Writers start by brainstorming, generating lots of ideas and thinking about them. We did that in our groups. Then writers choose the ideas that work best for what they want to say. They choose ideas that they can explain clearly so that other people will understand. We did that on our reason explanation example worksheets. Today, we're going to write our essays. Before you write your essay, let's take a look at another worksheet. Look closely at the words used in the reason and the words used in the explanation. Notice how they are different, but they have the same meaning. Also, notice how the example is specific. This triad of reason, explanation, and example is at the heart of the persuasive essay. Now look at your worksheet. Reread your reasons, explanations, and examples. Are your explanations clear and logical? Do they use different words than used in the reason? Are your examples specific and connected to your reason? Make the necessary changes before you go to write your essay. When you want to persuade someone that you are right, it is usually best to begin with your strongest reason. Readers sometimes lose focus and don't read carefully. It's more likely that a reader will understand and remember your first reason. So always start with your strongest reason. Which of your 3 reason explanation examples trios is the strongest? In other words, if you could only give one reason explanation example, which one would it be? Put a 1 next to it. Now decide which is your next strongest. Put a 2 next to it. The last trio gets a 3. Take a piece of the class writing paper. Write your name and date. In the writing skills section, write opening, closing opinion, 3 reasons, explanations, examples, organizing words. Persuasive essays have a structure that is easy to follow. The first paragraph tells the reader your opinion. Then you write a paragraph for each of your reason, explanation, example groups. Then in the last paragraph, you tell your opinion again. Let's start the essay. The first paragraph tells the reader your opinion. For example, I think summer is the best season of the year. This would be a short paragraph, but maybe only what a young writer is capable of. Another way is, each season of the year gives me lots of happiness. Spring can be nice in the park. I just love watching football in the fall. And I do go skiing each winter. But if I had to choose, I think summer is the best season of all. Let me tell you why. This is something that would be more representative of an older writer. Short or long, you as a writer have to make it clear to your reader what you are going to try to prove in the essay. This is done in the first paragraph. Make up your opening paragraph for your essay. Say it to yourself, then write it down. Paragraph 2 is going to use your strongest reason, explanation, example trio, the one with a 1 next to it. You want to begin with a sentence that organizes your thoughts. It could begin with, "My first reason is," or "The best thing about summer." Both methods also alert your reader that this is the first in a series of reasons. Write your opening sentence. The next group of sentences is the explanation that goes with the reason. Remember, you want to make the reason more clear by putting it into different words. Use 2 or 3 sentences for your explanation. The last sentence or sentences of the paragraph is a real-life example that supports the reason. It's easier for your reader to associate with a specific real-life example. Your third paragraph will be written just the way you wrote your second paragraph. Remember to begin your first sentence with words that show your thoughts are organized. My second reason is, or another good thing about summer. Then use 2 or 3 sentences providing an explanation in different words for your reason. Finish your paragraph with a specific real-life example that your reader can associate with. Your fourth paragraph will be written like your second and your third. You'll begin your first sentence with words that show your thoughts are organized. Make sure to use words that signal that this is the last reason and that you're finishing up your essay. The last reason is, or finally, summer is the time when. There are 3 goals connected to the last paragraph. The first is to signal to the reader that the essay is complete. The second is to remind the reader of your big ideas or your reasons. And third, to prompt the reader to think of your essay after they're done reading it. Here's an example of what a young writer would put down. Here is an example by an older writer. It signals the end of the essay by repeating the opinion. It has all 3 big ideas or reasons in one sentence. And then it asks the reader a question. So as the reader puts down the paper, they begin to think about what is their favorite season. Now go back and reread your essay. Does it make sense? Do the explanations make it easy for someone to understand your reasons? Do you write with complete sentences? Look back to the top of your paper at your writing skills. Did you give your opinion in the first and last paragraphs of your essay? Did you write 3 paragraphs, each with a reason, an explanation, and an example? Did you write using organizing words? Fix the elements that sound or feel wrong. Good job.